Good morning, guys. It's Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to another episode of Monday Marathon, processing e-waste stuff from the local charity shop. Now, even though it is a Monday Marathon episode, it's actually Tuesday today because yesterday was a public holiday in Victoria in Australia for Labor Day, I think they call it. I don't know. I lose track of them. I know when they have a public holiday, we open the shop because there's a lot of tourists around. So we had an extra long weekend in the shop and we did quite well. Back to the matter at hand, we have to process all this stuff. I've got quite a pile. I've got some more lamps, which I'm pretty happy about because lamps have been selling very well. We got some kitchen appliances. There's a large coffee maker there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. And I got my thing to flip this week. However, I don't think I'll get to sell it. I think Christine's already put her name on it. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So we'll go through this. We'll work out what we can sell, what we have to do to it. If we can't sell it, we'll certainly consider scrapping options. And then we'll go through the list at the end of the video, see what sort of return we can get, see how much we saved from going out to the waste streams. And we'll have a look at what we did last week and the week before just with sales, just to show you that I do actually sell the stuff, mostly. Right, let's sort it out. Okay, I think I'll move the big coffee maker off the bench for the moment and a couple of the other bigger things so we can make some room, and then we'll talk about these and we'll test them or work out what we're going to do with them once we have a bit of space. Okay, let's start with the item we were going to flip. I grabbed this egg poacher because it was only $1. It's a good stainless steel one. It has all the cups. I didn't actually realise until I got home that it's probably supposed to have a knob in the middle to lift that up, because when it's hot you can't kind of do this. But it's a really nice pan, and it turns out that it is suitable for an induction cooktop, as in it is magnetic, which they need to be to work on induction. So Christine already has an egg poacher, but she needed a nice flat saucepan. So it cost me $1. I was going to put 10 on it in the shop. Now I get no return, but I get to supply Christine with some more cookware, which helps it helps me eat. Let's be honest, she's a great cook and she looks after me very well. This part I don't think I'll bother keeping. These cups are usually aluminium. I think they are, and the actual tray is non-magnetic stainless, so I'll just take those little knobs off there, and I might even hang on to them because I often get egg poachers that are missing these knobs. And then we'll have some clean aluminium and we'll have a piece of clean stainless steel to scrap, so I do get some value back on my $1 spent. Okay, with that done, let's look at the first kitchen appliance. This is a pie maker, maybe? It's a crepe maker, or what's it say on the bottom? Homemaker is the brand, so it's a cheap supermarket brand, and it's a pancake maker. Okay, they're small pancakes. I would need at least half a dozen of those to fill me up. So yeah, it looks nice and clean, so that's a good one as long as it tests okay. We really just need to give, actually it barely needs a wipe over, it looks great. So we'll test this one, we can put a tag on it. We'd go for $10 on that. I think that's the first pancake maker as such I've had. Let's power up the appliance tester. There is a power light there. It's very dim, but there is a power light on. Is it heating up? Yep. Yep, that's good. And it passes the tests. I should have done an earth check on it first before I was touching it everywhere. And yes, that passes, so that's good. Ready to go, that one. We'll just put a tag on it, and hopefully we can get $10 for that one. That's what we like, getting through them quickly. What's in this bag? I haven't actually looked in here. We have I'm not sure what it is. Some sort of kitchen appliance. Is it a blender of some sort? That's a sharpener. Scissors, screwdrivers, fine coarse, I presume for knives. So, electric knife sharpener, there you go. So that's different to that. We have two appliances in here. Nice and clean. Oh, the cord's on a little ratchet. Oh, that's cool. Like a vacuum cleaner. So I guess we'll plug that in and see if it works. Well, it works, but it has a terrible vibration. Something's out of balance. I think either one of the little grinding wheels has a little piece broken out of it, or a shaft's been bent or something, because there's no way known it should vibrate that much. I don't think it's really worth the effort to take apart, to be honest. That is terrible. So something's bent or damaged inside. Lumina's only a fairly cheap brand, I think. Again, probably a Kmart brand. These things would be very cheap, I would think. I'm not, and it's very light, so the electric motor in it's not going to be of much value. I really think with this one I might just chop the cord off. I'm not going to try and scrap it for the motor, and there's not going to be much in there other than a switch and a motor. Sometimes I save the switches, but I'm a bit time poor at the moment, so that one, unfortunately, is going to go to e-waste, but we will chop the cord off it. So there we go, one for the e-waste station. I do have to be a little bit more ruthless this week with everything going on with Christine's cancer diagnosis and our other channel building. I don't have a lot of time. I still wanted to try and keep up with this Monday Marathon e-waste video series, so we'll see how we go, but sometimes I might be a bit more ruthless than normally I would be. So we have some cord, and the plug and the unit can go to e-waste. What's this one? It looks nice and clean again. It's some sort of blender, is it? That looks like it has attachments. Oh, it's a slicer. I take it those go on there somehow. We could read the instructions, it'll tell us what it is. It's an electric food spiralizer. Alright, basically some food art. So you can turn your zucchinis into spirals. I think it's probably a bit of a gimmick. It looks clean enough. I'm not sure how it works, but I'm guessing it's all here. We have numerous fittings. That must go on the drive thing. Okay, I don't really know how it fits together. I guess we could read the book. Let's see if it works. I should be able to start it just with that on the end. Alright, let's see what this does. Okay, very slow revving. It sounds okay. Okay, so that fits in the lid. And it must operate in here somehow. I just don't know how, oh, those just go in there, okay. So they just sit in, that one doesn't fit. Oh, it must go in first. There we go. Then that locks in. And that part grabs whatever you're trying to force through and turns it. And it basically creates spirals or whatever in your container. So it looks complete. It appears to work okay. It passes a safety test. I think we'll put this at the shop, maybe just for $5. I don't think it's a particularly expensive unit. And we have the books with it. So, all right, that one's okay. We'll try $5 on that. Next item is a lamp. And I said I like lamps. We've been doing quite well with them lately. This one, the shade's a bit damaged. There is a globe in it. And, oh, what's going on under the base? It's lost the base plate. And it looks like, by that module, it looks like it's a touch lamp. But there's no base plate on it. The nuts are just loose. It's not dangerous because all the wiring's taped up. But it's not saleable like that with the bottom broken. And with given that the shade's pretty rough and has got some breaks, this might be, and it's only plastic, the housing. I guess we'll see if it actually works. How can it be a touch lamp if the housing's plastic? Not sure what's going on there. Let's plug it in and see what it does. Okay, we'll give it some power. Yeah, and it's not working. I'm wondering if it had a metal base that had a wider metal base that you had a touchpad on because there's certainly nothing to turn it on. There's no switch. It's definitely a touch lamp, judging by that little electronics box, but there's no metal. We can't turn it on. I've got power to it. So why do people donate things that are broken and even missing parts? All right, we'll turn that one off. This one is definitely e-waste. I will keep some parts, but what? No, there's not really anything I need. I don't really know if the touch electronics work. I'm not really keen on repairing touch lamps anyway, to be honest. Most of them aren't worth the time. So I think this one is another candidate for chopping the cord off, straight to e-waste, to the transfer station. Bit of a shame, but it's broken and it doesn't work. Why do people donate things? Even going, I would struggle. You know, I might get $5 for it if it had a normal switch on it, but it's only a plastic base. The shade's damaged. Not worth the time. At least we get another cord out of it, so that's something that will be recycled. But we're going to have a little bit of e-waste this week, unfortunately. Okay, from up the top here we have a large Cambrook electric fry pan, and it looks like it's been used to death. There's a large brown area where the element's been very hot and it's losing some of the Teflon, so that's not safe to use. So this is going to go for scrap as well. The good thing with these things, it has got the enclosed heating element. If it was an exposed one, we can sometimes lever them out and take all the fittings off and at least get a price for the cast aluminium. As it is, I'm going to sell the whole lot as irony aluminium. I discussed that in a recent video. It's not worth taking the end brackets off because it's irony aluminium anyway, and we'll get a little bit of extra dollars because of the extra weight there. And they allow for that. The scrapyards don't pay a lot for irony aluminium because they do allow for impurities. So that's where that one's going. The lid, I think I'll just send with my e-waste because they do get lids with these fry pans when they're thrown out in e-waste, and I'm sure the companies that collect it have hopefully some way of disposing of these rather than just sending them straight to landfill. Sometimes I will save the knob off the top. I don't think I really need to save this one. So that can go to e-waste. And the cord, well, I've put one of these temperature control probes on eBay from one I did recently. This one I'm not going to because it's quite oily. It's an older style with no sleeves on the pins. And just noticing now it has got a chip on the corner. So I'm not going to be able to sell that. Even if it works, I'm not going to be able to sell that easily on eBay. The one I've put on, I've got it on as $20 buy it now, plus $11 postage, but it cleaned up as new and it tested safe, and it's a more modern one with the sleeve on the pins. This is an older unit, obviously older than 20 years old, because they've had sleeves on the pins for about 20 years. So again, this time, as with the lamps, and the knife sharpener, we're going to get a little bit of electrical cord for our copper wire bins, and that can go to e-waste with the plug. But I will at least scrap or sell that for irony aluminium, so that won't be going to the e-waste crates. Okay, next we have if it is what the box says it is, it's a ceramic tower heater, 2000 watt, Moretti, probably a fairly good heater. It's the wrong time of year to sell heaters. We're looking at about 35 degrees Celsius here today. Yesterday was very humid, so really hard to sell heaters at the shop at the moment. That's quite a sweet little heater actually. Quite compact. Looks clean enough. The base just needs a bit of a wipe over. It's just a bit dusty. And this is something that I probably won't be in a mad rush to sell. The filter looks like it needs a bit of a clean. Yeah, not too bad actually. It's just dust on the outside. So we'll give it a bit of a clean up and make sure it works, I guess, before we go to too much trouble cleaning. I'll take that out for now. But this is something I'm not going to discount just to get rid of it at the shop because it's the wrong time of the year. It's like trying to sell ice to the Eskimos. It's difficult to sell a heater when it's, everyone's sweltering, even though we all know it will get cold again. But I don't mind if this sits at the shop, maybe even under a bench for a while. And once the nights start to turn chilly, I'm just checking the cord as I'm speaking, feels okay. Once the nights start to get chilly, people will certainly be thinking of heaters and staying warm. And we're into mid-March here, and it's actually a bit unusual to be so hot in March. Normally we're starting to get autumn weather, it's starting to get cooler nights, the occasional chilly, showery day, but we've had constant over 30 degrees for nearly a week, and they're forecasting more of it, so, and some storms, so it's weird weather, all right. Let's plug it in, make sure it works, because if it doesn't work, then we don't need to worry about when we're going to sell it. We won't. Right, so power up the appliance tester. It's double insulated and there's no metal anywhere, it's all plastic. So I don't have any metal to put the earth probe on. Why is that beeping at me? Maybe it has a safety switch on the base. No, it doesn't. Maybe it has a balance switch, so if you lay it over. Yeah, okay. Let's get see if we can get some life into the control panel here. Or does it actually have an on switch? Nothing's working. It must have a power switch somewhere. Oh, down the back. Right. I'm not getting any life out of it at all. Okay, well, it's not working. I have no life at all other than a beep when I tip it over and stand it up again. But there's no life on the control panel. The main switch doesn't seem to do anything. Okay, when it's off it doesn't beep. So it's obviously got a fault. Now, I guess we could try and fix it, but I need to know if it's really worthwhile. If it's only a real cheapie, I probably won't want to go to the hassle. Maybe we'll do a separate video and see if we can fix it. I'll do a bit of checking on this brand. If I was to scrap it, again, all I'd do is chop the cord off because it's all plastic. There's probably a really small fan motor in there. I think it would have a fan. Or it has swing, so it would have a little motor. But, alright, it's got a fault. No value as far as this video goes, but I'll check it out and let you know before we finish this video whether I think I'm going to have a go at repairing it. It kind of depends. If it's a super cheapie, I'm not going to. I'm just going to chop the cord off. As I said, I'm fairly time poor at the moment. But I don't like throwing things out if they're good quality items and I can have a go at fixing them. We'll put this aside for now, but no go at the moment. Okay, let's have a look at this crate full of lamps and things. There's a kettle here as well. Hopefully we can get something to sell. We're not doing too flash this morning. That's a reasonable little shade. It's got a few marks on it, but that might be usable. I'm not sure if it suits a lamp that's in here. This lamp appears okay. Shade's not bad. It's loose in the top. Oh, the whole light fitting's loose. Fairly modern style lamp. It's had a price sticker on it by the looks of it. That sticky will clean off fine. But we do need to tighten the lamp fitting up. It's very loose. And it doesn't appear to be broken. It's just very loose on the mount. But it's got a... I don't know if we can do it up. You've got to be careful. You can't just tighten these up because you're going to twist the wires and they can pull out of the socket. We might have to... It's awkward to get into there because of the circle design in the front. We might have to remove the... Well, take the shade off for a start. The shade's okay. So I reckon we might have to actually undo the wires. Oh, we can slide that through. That's okay. Then we can hopefully get this base to tighten up without twisting the wires. But we've got no way of holding the nut inside. Sometimes you can be lucky and it just kind of grabs and then you can tighten it. Oh, I think we have been. Excellent. That's pulled it up pretty good. Excellent. So that way we haven't twisted the wires. So now we can do this back up. And we'll just make sure the wires are properly connected. They look pretty good. Switch feels a little dodgy. Oh, I think that's okay. Alright, so we'll see if it works before we put the shade back on it. Here we have an LED globe. Good thing about getting all these lamps, I have no shortage of globes. Righto, let's see if that works okay. Yep, beautiful. That switch feels fine now. Okay, we can put the shade back on that, which was at the square shade. Got a few little knocks to it, but I think it's okay. It must have been knocked off a bench or something. The shade's bent. You can often just bend the wires enough that it straightens up. That looks okay. I'm not sure if a square shade actually suits that lamp. What do you think? We might be better with this smaller shade. I'll have to work that out. Probably okay. Yeah, I think it looks alright. Okay. But definitely the shade it's had a fall and the shade has been a little crunched on the corners. Not too bad. I'll clean that sticky off. We're just going to put $5 on it. It's a perfectly safe and usable lamp now that we've tightened it up. And we'll just brush the shade down a bit. Alright, so $5 for that one. A little bit of work involved. So what's next in this crate? We have a lamp here with a cast iron base. That's a very heavy base. Extremely simple lamp. No frills. Just a heavy base and a stem as such. A more modern style fitting here. It takes an Edison screw globe. And I don't know that I have a shade for this one because that would totally be out of proportion and it doesn't fit anyway. That's got the wider top on it. So possibly no shade for this one. What are we going to do with this? Well, I don't think we can really sell it. The switch is okay and I'm sure it still works. I don't think I've got any shades for it at the shop. We're probably unlikely to sell it as it is without a shade. But we could try, just $5. Not really worth scrapping, although a decent cast iron base on it. The base might be handy for something else. Maybe I'll put this with my other lamp parts for when I'm trying to make up. I want to make some different sorts of lamps, including using up old CDs. So that base might be handy. And I do use the cords with the switches. So, okay, we won't sell this. I'll hang on to this for parts. I've talked myself around to doing that, which I shouldn't be doing because I've got enough parts here anyway, but that's a really nice base. We won't try and sell that one. Another little lamp. It's just a real tiny little thing. The shade has been crunched. It's an Anko small Edison screw globe. Is it a touch lamp? It must be. It doesn't have a switch. The bottom's starting to come off. Let's have a look in there. Oh, it's got a plastic cover under that. I suppose we'll see if it works. It's not actually damaged other than the shade's a little rough and a bit dirty. It's a tiny little lamp. Let's plug it in and see if it works. Oh yeah, it is. Just a little touch lamp, on, off, no frills. Very small little globe in there. Would we get $5 for it? I might just clean it up a bit. I can probably brush the shade off. It tests safe. It works fine. We'll try and get $5 for that one. It is a touch lamp. Another lamp here. This shade is very rough. I think the shade is going to be rubbish. But it's a nice timber base. It's an older lamp. Much older plug. It's actually a Bakelite plug. This looks like it could go back to the 60s. Nice old rocket switch. Actually, the shade's doing it no favours at all. It's a better lamp than what the shade makes it look. Let's take that off. So, Bakelite fittings. Switch up the top. Really nice timber base. The cord looks good. It's the original cord. Nice old Bakelite plug looks fine. So that would look much better with a nice sort of retro-y shade. We could put that little one on. Actually, that kind of suits it better. Let's put that on and we'll find a globe for it and see what it looks like. Okay, that shade does look a little better. It would need a smaller globe in it because it's only a small shade, but at least you can see more of the timber base, and it works very nicely. It tests safe, the cord's in good condition. I like that little lamp, and I think I'm going to put $20 on it. I would probably put even a bit more on it if we found a more suitable shade, but that one will do for now. Very nice. That's a good little lamp. So we're starting to run out of room now. This shade is going to be rubbish. It's all crunched up inside, so it's been broken, so that's fine. Rubbish there. The kettle is definitely scrap. Look how rough that is. It's been rolling around in the back of a truck for a while, a long time. The lid won't even open, so that's only scrap. I'm not going to put that with my stainless or anything. I'm not going to scrap it out. It's just going to e-waste. The base is here for it. We will get a bit more cord for our electric wire pile. And chop the plug off. So more e-waste there, unfortunately. So the last couple of things in the crate, we have another little lamp. That's probably what that smaller shade came from. I do have some spare smaller shades at the shop that will suit this. So we'll just make sure this works. Again, you don't get much more simple than that. It's just a base with a stem and a light fitting, and it would have had one of those little round shades on it. Probably the one we used on the retro lamp. I think I've got some other basic shades, so let's just try it with this globe. Works okay. Does the switch work all right? Yep, that's fine. I'll take that to the shop. I don't really see any value as it is to sell, but if I can put a little shade on it, we will get $5. So I guess I'll write down 5 because I keep shades when they come in from these deals when they're good enough to reuse. So we should get 5 for that with a shade on it. Here's our other bit of cord we had before. I'll keep the little tie thing. We use those all the time. And the last item is a little halogen lamp. These ones sell okay too. So they're only a 12-volt halogen globe. You need to make sure that the glass cover is over them because they do get very, very hot. And also if you touch the globe with your fingers, the globe will not last. So due to the oils on your fingers affecting the glass, and it must alter the amount or the heat distribution of the globe. And if they get a hot spot, they blow. So we'll just make sure this one works and is safe. There we go, that works fine. Little telescopic arms on it, which incidentally, these are the actual voltages. So if you put a meter on each of the telescopic arms, you'll register 12 volts. It's not enough to feel with your fingers, but they've got a big transformer in the base, which gives it a fair bit of weight. So if you're scrapping these out, they do have a decent chunky transformer, but this one's working fine. So it tests all right. We'll just put $5 on that. So a lot of lamps this week. Some we can sell, most of them we can sell. One we'll use for parts. And that finishes the crate. So all we have to do is check out that coffee maker. I'll move all this stuff off the bench and we'll do some checking on that coffee machine and see what we're going to do with that. Okay, this thing is a beast. It's quite heavy. It's a DeLonghi Prima Donna S Deluxe. And it appears to be a bit dirty, as if it's been in storage for a while. I did a bit of checking on these. It's an older model. It's been discontinued quite some time ago. I think it's probably about 10 years old. It has a milk frother thing taped to the top. I don't know anything about it. It's like all this stuff, it's been donated to the charity shop. You would like to think it's in good working order, but I really don't know. Now, I've never used one of these things. I'm going to power it up and just see if we can get some life out of it. I've done a bit of checking online. Apparently these models did have some faults, but they were quite good. I saw some good reviews amongst some bad reviews. I might take this off, I think. And I think they were like a few $1,000s to buy new. And I did see one reconditioned, I think in the UK, that sold for the equivalent of $1,000 secondhand just recently. So they can still bring pretty good money, but I don't want to go through the whole process of cleaning it up and working out how to use it, and then maybe finding it's got a fault, and maybe selling it for parts. I don't know. What I'm going to do is I'll just wipe it over so it doesn't look so bad. Geez, this tape is very sticky. And we'll power it up and make sure it's safe on my appliance tester. We'll see if we can get some life out of the front panel. But I'm not going to put water in it and try and work out how to make a coffee. I'm just going to sell it untested. And I'm going to put it on... Oh, there's more down there. Come on, off you come. I'm going to put it on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm going to try $50. Now, someone who has one and wants parts might jump at it. Someone might take a punt, and it may even be in perfect working condition. Or someone might be prepared to buy it and fix it up. I don't want to spend the time on it. I don't want to scrap it. We possibly could scrap it out, but I'm not going to get very much value out of it. Maybe $5, I would imagine, tops, and a lot of work. If I can get $50 for it, I'm going to be very happy indeed, and hopefully we have a very happy customer. So I'll keep talking you through my marketing strategy as we plug it in. So I'll put the camera back in the stand. So we'll try 50. I'll give it a wipe over. I'll do some photos of it later. And present it as well as we can. It's obviously had a fair bit of use. It looks like it's actually worn through the plating here. I think this milk frother sits up here somewhere. Oh, honestly, does that go in? Maybe that cap comes... I don't know. Don't even know how it works. But if, yeah, we'll power it up. I'll take some photos of it. I'll put it on Facebook Marketplace. And if I don't get any bites at 50... Knowing Facebook Marketplace, people are going to try and haggle me down anyway. But if I don't get any bites at 50, and a week later I'm going to drop it down to 25. So half price. We'll give it a chance at 50 for a week. If we don't get any takers, we'll drop it to 25. And if I don't get any takers after another week, I might drop it to $10 because I'm sure I wouldn't get that sort of money for it for scrap. If we still can't sell it, maybe we'll do a scrap out video on it. But I'd rather give it a chance to keep it in circulation. Let's power it up. All right, the appliance test is on. Oh, we better connect our earth wire. We need to make sure it's safe. Okay, yeah, we've got an earth up there. I think this bottom tray is separate, so that's not earthed. So that's good. It tests okay on my appliance tester. Let's turn it on. I've got nothing happening. Okay, I've got no power again. There's a main switch at the back, but that's not doing anything either. Our power cord should be okay. We did register an earth through it, so maybe it's blown a fuse. Maybe it has got some sort of internal fault. Okay, well, there's no life in it at all. I can't go with my original marketing plan because I at least wanted to say that it powers up. I can't even get it to do that. I'm not sure what's wrong. So I think I'm going to scrap it. But what I'll do is I'll just leave it for a week or so. I'll put it aside. I don't have time to scrap it for now. We will film that process, but I'm going to put it aside for now. If anyone wants it on my channel and lives nearby, I'll actually happily give it to you. Hopefully you can fix it up. Or if you want it to scrap out yourselves, go for your life. So let me know if you're local. I'll happily give it to you. But yeah, I was hoping it would fire up, but we've got no life in it at all. So, all right, we can't write down any value for this. And again, someone must have known this wasn't working, and yet they still dropped it at the charity shop. All right, well, we'll put it aside for now. So this week was a little disappointing, really, with our haul from the charity shop, but we have succeeded in keeping most of it out of landfill, well, at least out of the waste stream. That box is all that's going to Ewaste. We do have some scrap. I stood on that shade and just got the metal out of it, so it'll take up less room in my bin, so a little bit of landfill there. Christine will get a nice pan. The heater, apparently, according to the box, is supposed to have a remote control, and I'm wondering why that's the reason, if that's the reason why it won't turn on. But I will inspect that a bit further. We're not going to write down any value today. I may do a repair video on it. It might turn into a scrap out, or that there's not much value. Same with the coffee machine. If no one claims it, I'll probably do a scrap out video on it, but I'll pull it apart carefully in case I can find a fault, because I'd still like to sell it as a going coffee machine if possible. And the lamps have saved the day, so we'll get a bit of return on those lamps. I particularly like that retro one. I hope to find a better shade for it. And the other one that we scrapped, I saved the black shade off it. I haven't found a collar for it yet, but even though it's a little bit rough, it's still usable, so that will make that little silver lamp at least saleable. Everything else there is tested and ready to go. So What do you think, Coco? Does it all pass the test? Or does it smell delicious? Let's go and have a look at the notepad and see what it added up to. Okay, here we go. As you can see, if it wasn't for the lamps, we would have had a very disappointing $15. At least with that nice retro one, we've got it up to 55 potential return there. And we've still got the heater and the coffee machine to have a bit of a play with to see if we can get anywhere. I've done my $1 on the egg poacher, but that's okay. Happy to look after my girl there, no problems at all. She gets first pick at everything I pick up. Righto, so that was part 12. Let's have a look at how we did last week. We have sold the lamp from last week. I mentioned we've done really well with lamps lately. Also sold the Philips clock radio. Nothing else has gone yet. I think those Bud lights are still there for free. And yeah, the jug's in the shop, but I'm not going to discount that. So yeah, we've made a start on that list. The week before, we've powered through it. All the lamps have sold. The little power bank sold. One of the rice cookers has gone. The kettle's gone. Both power boards. I dropped them down to $3 each. I think I mentioned to you I'm not going to test and tag them anymore. They're just not worth it because you can buy them brand new for just over $3 each. Have sold both of those though. I could certainly test them and not worry about putting a tag on them because we wouldn't get $3 worth of scrap out of them. So I guess I'll probably still do that if they're clean. I'll make sure they're safe. I just won't actually tag them. The pancake maker I had put aside for a lady and she didn't come back. Same with something else. But so that hasn't had the full time in the shop as everything else has. And the other stuff, the outdoor speakers went. So most of that's gone, which is fantastic. No takers on that nice oil lamp or the piece of pottery yet, but I'm not worried about those either. They can sit in the shop. Part 9 has seen everything sold. We even got rid of that retro foot warmer for $2. Sold the Converse shoes. I did drop them from 10 down to 5. The little desk stand's still there, but I'm not worried about that at all. And even if we put it in our scrap bins, well, you know, we've still made a little bit there, haven't we? So I think I can put a line through this page. And that was episode 9. Episode 8 sees most stuff gone, but these have been here long enough now that that pie maker is now going to be free. I did have that put aside for a lady as well, but she didn't come back. The Panasonic clock radio, that was a nice one. That's staying in the shop. The T8 clock radio, I don't need to make that free. I can put that over in the tech corner in the shop. That's fine. I don't mind those things hanging around. The waffle bowl actually got broken. No one told me about it, but I think a customer dropped it off the bench and just put it back on. And it had a big piece of plastic broken off it. So unfortunately, I've scrapped that. Didn't get any return there. And the Sony unit, that's a surround sound amplifier, and I think there's some sort of booster speaker or something with it. I'm going to scrap that. No one's interested at all, so I will scrap that out. So that's pretty well going to make that suitable to put a line through. Pretty well everything was dealt with, other than the pie maker will be free. Clock radio I'll put into the shop stock. So yeah, and everything previous to part 8 has been dealt with. So we're achieving our aims of not leaving things linger too long, which I'm pretty happy with. And I've said numerous times, I don't want the e-waste to kind of linger in the shop and just clutter up shelves for very low value. Most of it doesn't come under the umbrella of antiques or collectible. I like to keep my shop not just a modern junk shop. I like to keep it as more antiques and collectibles, even though we do sell everything. But I'm pleased with the process here. A little bit flexible with some things that I'm happy to leave sit in stock for a while. But most of your everyday average stuff, kitchen appliances, workshop tools, which I haven't had many of lately, and well, even things like Christmas lights and that, they're out the front of the shop to go as quick as possible. And if they don't go when I've got them priced, I keep discounting until they do go or they become free. I'm happy with the process. It's working very well. I'm saving a lot of stuff from going into the waste stream. Sometimes, like today, not making anywhere near enough money for my time, but it's not really about that. And I do get some value back on the videos with the thanks of all you guys watching, and occasionally some people buy me a coffee, which is much appreciated. So another episode finished. We'll catch you next week if I get round to it. We've got a lot of medical appointments coming up, and I may miss 1 or 2 weeks with this e-waste challenge, but I'll try and make sure I don't miss any of my emergency storage shed clean out series, which I have to get on to shortly. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.